Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are at in the world. And welcome back to another episode of Empowering Intuitives Talk Show here on A1R Radio and Moonstruck TV. So I'm so excited to continue our conversations about really finding our bliss and tuning ourselves and our frequency to happiness. And one person that I admire a lot, Tony Robbins, has a fantastic way of really priming you and helping you get your day started in such a fantastic way. So I want to kind of explain that a little bit if you're not familiar with this concept. But priming really, think about whatever your morning ritual is or your morning routine. What do? For me personally, I like to do some deep breathing. I like to meditate. I like to put some positive affirmations. Sometimes there's mantras involved, whatever I feel like I need to do. I have multiple things that work and I substitute those, but it's always about setting a positive intention for my day and for myself, my personal energy. So let's get into what he does. Okay. So Tony does. First, he does these breathing exercises. And when we do breathing exercises, it really changes and alters our state of consciousness. And the way he does his, and you can always like YouTube this up to really see it, but he does these very forceful breaths and he kind of like raises his arms up high and they breathe in and he brings them down and he exhales. And they do this forcefully. He does, I think it's like a set of 10, and then he rests. And then he just kind of soaks that in and feels into the body how he's feeling. Kind of does like that self body scan. And then he repeats that 3 times. Me personally, I prefer doing more deep belly breath, where you take these slow, deep breaths and you push your belly out like a Buddha, right? So you're just inhaling and then exhaling forcefully. And you do that. I like to do that like 5 times. Then what I like to do is you continue with exhaling out your belly, like that Buddha belly, but you want to bring that breath high up. So you're really getting deep, deep breath. And you want to do that, hold it for the count of 5 and then let it all out. So let's try it. I want you to really just kind of take a minute. Let's take a deep breath in. And as you're taking that deep breath in, push your belly out and hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. And when we do it this time, let's picture our lungs and we have these upper airways. Let's get our breath the whole way up there, right? So it looks like this. Hold it, and then forcefully exhale that. So I want you to practice that. And I like to do that by repeating that 5 times. And then rest. See how you feel. A lot of times it really does just center and ground you. It works great if you maybe try to meditate and your mind is all over the place. Try going back and doing some breath work. And that can also help center things and reshift the focus. So breath work, super, super important for how you start your state of consciousness. So instead of waking up, being stressed, worrying about the day, I know a lot of people do that as well, right? Let's just say, I'm going to carve out a little bit of time, whatever that is for you, 15 minutes. Maybe you're going to do a 10-minute meditation. Can you find a little bit of time, even a half an hour of your morning for this priming? You will feel so much better. Your entire day will be shifted on your perspective, how you experience the day, and it's well worth it. So I challenge you this week to do these exercises that I'm going to go through, okay? And see at the end of the week really how you feel. So the next thing that we're going to do, and that he talks about, is focusing on 3 things, and you do it for about 10 minutes. So the first thing is focusing on gratitude. And that's what we talked about last week, right? We talked about gratitude. So when you do it for such a short amount of time, there's really no excuse not to do it, right? And that's what I love about how Tony set up this priming exercises, because we're only going to focus on each aspect of this for about a minute to 3 minutes. That's easy peasy, right? Okay, so when we focus on gratitude, you're going to focus on one person that you are grateful for in your life. And really feel deep into that, feel into that, what you're experiencing. So let's say, for example, the person that you're most grateful for is your partner. And just feel all of the wonderful things that you feel about that person. Feel it in your physical body. You're grateful for their presence in your life, for their guidance, their love, their support. What does that feel like? Then they want you to focus on one simple thing and make it simple. Maybe it's the sun shining on your face. Maybe it's just looking at your animal. It's the smile of a child, your child. Focus on that and how that makes you feel, right? Just think about that right now. You can't help but smile when you're focusing on this, right? And then they want you to focus on one big thing. So maybe it's a big memory. Sometimes it's a milestone. Maybe it's a wedding or a birth or a significant thing that had happened in your life. You know, maybe you had financial abundance come to you. Maybe you had a new position in your career, something like this. So it's a big thing, and focus on that. And to really gain the most out of these exercises, you really want to feel it. Feel what that feels like in your physical body. So maybe you're grateful for a promotion or a new job, and you're feeling how wonderful, you feel more appreciated, you feel excited, you feel endless possibilities with this new position, right? Maybe it gives you that financial abundance, whatever, but feel it. And only spend a minute on that. Then we're going to focus on a blessing. And when you do this, when you focus on a blessing, maybe it could be something that you're focusing, that you picture a blessing, let's just say for your physical health. Maybe it's a blessing in love, or a blessing your ability to be compassionate, your ability to be creative. Maybe it's your ability, or you're asking for a blessing on your sense of humor. Right now, so many people struggle with their sense of humor and feeling calm and centered. And so maybe that's where you're asking for a blessing. So when you are experiencing this part of it, what they want you to do is identify the problem. So let's use an example that you don't feel grounded. Maybe you don't feel supported or grounded. And so you can identify that problem, if you want to call it a problem, and focus on it being solved. You might not have all the ideas of exactly how it's going to be solved, but focus on what it feels like to have it resolved. So if you're feeling ungrounded, restless, focus on what it feels like to be centered and grounded and balanced, right? And focus on that for a moment and really feel that, because we can feel the differences, right? Just feel the positiveness of this. Then they want you to focus that same blessing to your immediate friends and family. So if it's this same one that we're using this example about not being centered and grounded and balanced, then picture your family feeling more centered and grounded and balanced and finding more joy. And so as soon as I say those words, I start picturing all of my loved ones and all my friends and my patients and my coworkers. And I just start picturing people finding that within their lives, right? And it just makes you feel more um, joyful to be able to see that for them as well, right? So, the last part of this is focusing on three outcomes. So, you can expand it even more. So, what happens when you're centered and grounded? You find more joy. So, that would be the outcome, right? You're happier, you're calmer, you have more energy, all of the things that come with being more centered and grounded, right? So focus on three outcomes that you really want to see coming. And again, feel it. Feel it in your body. Feel the joy, feel the gratefulness of experiencing that. And I know it's really long explanation of all of this stuff, but it really doesn't take that long when you break it down. It's a 10 to 15-minute process. And I guarantee you, you will find if you do this in the morning, it will help you to get into a more positive state and the way that you can look at your life and the people around you a little bit more positive. And isn't that what we're looking for here, right? Setting intentions to be in a positive state of mind, because that's how it will help you to attract more positive things in your daily life through the law of attraction. And it will help you ride the waves of the uncertainties, right? And anybody that is sensitive and attuned to the energies knows when a full moon is around, right? Because people are all over the place energetically, and it can rock and roll empaths and intuitives. But if you prime like this in the morning and you are much more centered and focused on positive aspects of yourself and your life and the people that you love and you surround yourself with, it helps you navigate everybody else's chaos. And it helps you be a little bit more compassionate to send them love and healing and positive well wishes, if you will, versus joining their negative bandwagon, right? So take the time. You deserve to do this for yourself. Do this. And I like to do some meditation then, because meditation is puts you in a state of receiving from the divine, where this morning priming exercises puts you in the active participant of it, right? You're not in the receptive mode, you're in the action mode, which both are needed. So that's what I really would like you guys to practice and focus on. So if you don't remember all of these things, you can always, like I said, look up Tony Robbins. He's an amazing mentor, an amazing person. And I absolutely just adore his work. So check it out and do this for the week and see where you're at with it. All right, so we are going to take a caller. It looks like we have Stephanie in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Are you with us, Stephanie?
Yes. Hello. Yes, I am. Good
Hello,
evening.
my
How
dear.
are you?
I'm doing wonderful, my dear. How are you?
I am doing. Doing this thing called
I'm
life. I'm
also in
doing it.
Pennsylvania, so we're getting some rain
Okay.
right now, aren't
Yes,
we?
we are. And so, yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So, I
Mm-hmm.
have a question
Better than
or
snow.
an area that you would like us to look at for you tonight.
Okay. Well, the area that I wanted to work on is trying to find out is where I'm going as far as my goals and the energy and surrounding me, trying to clean my chakras, do everything I need to do to try to get spiritually aligned and just goals and futuristic aspects and just things of that nature.
Well, let's see what they want to bring forth. That's the most prominent for you right now. As soon as I step
Who's
into your
around me? Who's
energy, my
around me?
dear, they're telling me that you are very intuitive, and it's been something that you maybe weren't always aware of, though you've always experienced the world as an empath. Would you understand that?
Absolutely.
And so it's really interesting. They're letting me know. I'm getting about 3 years ago, there was a shift for you, and you really have been awakened much more since then. And it's really calling you to pay attention to what's going on in your physical body. And spirit is also, I feel like you get a knowingness. Would you understand that? Like you just receive information. You're not always sure how you get it, but you just know.
Go on, girl.
And I also feel that you're very clairsentient, that your gut instincts are spot on. And but your head gets in the way of that sometimes. But always looking hindsight, you go, oh, I felt that, I knew that, but I didn't listen to it. A lot of us have that same kind of story. But what's really great about why they're bringing this up is because you finally reached a point now that you're ready to listen to those gut instincts and take that leap of faith moving forward. Journaling would be really good for you because I feel like spirit has been giving you a lot of information. I feel like maybe you've been getting a lot of ringing in the ears because they're attuning you a lot. So, this is a year of transformation for you. Journaling, the process, is also going to help you really to kind of prove your intuition to yourself, if that makes any sense, because you're a great, healthy skeptic, but you're starting to trust the information that you're receiving, but you kind of like have to prove it to yourself. Make sense?
Absolutely. Yes, yes, you do.
So journal what you're receiving because I feel like if you can journal it and then experience it, you're going to start to then really learn to trust it more and more. Finding some kind of intuitive developmental circle would be really good for you so that you can work with like minds. Also, I feel as though there is shifting maybe in what you're doing career wise coming this year. So maybe it's a whole new field, but definitely a new area that you're going to be focusing on, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So pay attention to where your guts are taking you because that's coming. But I'm getting like May to August is big offers. Potential is the highest potential for that. Right now, there's a little bit of unrest because um, you you were really hit by these energies, and I feel like it's if you have a time where it's very calm, it's almost unnerving for you. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, it does.
Right now, there's like that restlessness, but if you can just push that aside and go within with meditation and find that calmness, you'll gain more information and you'll get more of that information from spirit. So, developing a good meditative practice is really important. And you can do some guided meditations, but they're really wanting you to learn how to go within without meditation and learn how to quiet that mind. There's some really good apps. There's like Insight Timer has some good stuff. There's a lot of apps out there that can help assist with this. And there's also like workshops and things that can help you with your meditative practice. But it'll help you quiet that mind. Your mind goes all the time, which I can appreciate. But
Mm.
learning balance and shutting that off is going to help you a lot. There is also an opportunity coming up for you this spring before summer for learning opportunities. So I don't know if you have been looking at doing any kind of workshop in a spiritual aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
No, I
haven't,
haven't.
so so pay attention because there may be something like online, but and it might be that you're expanding out in your development, intuitive development circle. But I feel like there is opportunities for growth. And astrology is something that I feel learning astrology is something that's coming up. And that will also help you understand a little bit more about you and what's going on right now.
Okay.
Have you ever had your chart done?
Yes,
Okay. Um, do you have an interest in learning astrology? Because that's really coming prominent
I
right now.
do. I do. I do. Yes, I
So
do.
so maybe that's where you might then, find someone that's teaching for beginners. Um, because I feel for you, it's making the connection between the divine and your daily life is super important this year. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does. It
And
does. Are you able to tell me anything about like any people around me, any ancestry type of connection, or any like my like anything love wise, but more so like I'm looking for in depth me, like ancestry, like where am I going as far as like job opportunities, stuff like am I on the what path? Am I on the right path?
so
And then I had someone talk about a
hang on,
generational
honey,
curse.
hang on one
Hmm.
second. They wanted to bring up one thing here before because you're bouncing all around here. So they wanted just to bring up about there is something called the Celestine Prophecy. Have you ever watched this movie or read the books? They're asking for you to look at that. That's going to help you as well
Celestial
learning about
prophecies.
energy.
Celestial prophecies. That's what you said?
Celestine Prophecies.
Okay.
And learning like
Never heard of it.
maybe you'll learn about Reiki or something, but I feel like learning about your subtle energies and learning how to handle your energies is going to be very important. um Now, you said a lot of different things that you were trying to get squeezed in, but I'm not sure what
Ancestral, like,
one
is there any
area did you
family
want to.
around me? Any family ancestral, like, is there any, like, a spirit guide, or who's my
Oh,
spirit guide?
so you want to look to see if there's any family and spirit.
Yes, anything around me that enhances, that can help me. Like, I feel like I call upon, uh, like, something to, like, give me that light, to turn on those lighted things that I need in life. Like, is there anyone around me in my, that is helping me from the other side?
Oh, yes, my dear. You are well aware of some of the people that are around. I feel that there are some angels. We all have some angels, right? We all have our personal
Hmm.
angels, and we do have different guides that are here with us. One of your guides is actually, I feel like an energetic healer, and this is why they're bringing up these other things and wanting you to learn about your energy. And I don't know if you identify yourself as being somebody that is like a healer and very nurturing and wanting to like heal animals and things like this, but
No.
they're coming in to help you learn about energy. So it makes sense that they're bringing up the Celestine prophecies and that you're an empath and that you're very sensitive to energies. So this is a newer guide coming in. Just talk to them.
Hmm.
You know that they're around. I do have a very strong female presence that's coming in, and it feels like a very maternal, almost like a grandmother energy that's coming forward. She's talking to
Hmm.
me. Um, she is taught. She was like a no. This your grandmother, is it mom's mom that's in spirit?
I'm sorry. You said, is it mom's mom?
Yes.
Yes.
So I get her as a no nonsense kind of woman.
Hmm.
She
Okay.
you you I feel like when you got a hug by her, you knew you were hugged, and that
Hmm.
she had a very big generous heart, but you didn't want to make her mad. She had very strong um way of thinking in black and white about things, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
She's talking about, since she's crossed back into spirit, she says she's learned that you don't always have to be so black and white. And she's cautioning you because I feel like you can be that way as well. And she's asking for you to soften some of those lines a little bit. Still have a healthy boundary when you need to, but most things are more in the gray, she's saying. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And she's asking that you, she says, my child, you really are hard on yourself. And you have a really high expectation for people in your life. And it's very frustrating. And it's very frustrating for you when they don't match that level of expectation. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. She gave it to me.
And this is where
she's high expectations for people.
This is where she's talking about learning to allow other people to be where they are, and don't place such strong expectation on others. Focus more on yourself. And she wants you to find a state of forgiveness for yourself. And she feels like, she says, you're doing such a wonderful job. You really have a beautiful light within you, and you want to help people. And she is so proud of you for that. She just asked that you learn to soften it. That's one thing she wishes she would have done while she was here. So she's sending you a lot of love and support, and trust and know she's around. You can call on her, and she will be around and let you know answers. Is it your birthday or an anniversary or some kind of celebration? Because she's giving you flowers.
My birthday's coming.
Okay, then she's presenting you with the flowers in recognition of your birthday. And I'm going to leave that with much love. Lots of luck to you, my dear, and trust you are on the right path and you are going in the right direction. And learn to start to trust that intuition. It's guiding you well.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Everything resonated. Every single thing. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a great night, and thank you guys so much for joining me this week, and I'll see you guys next week. Namaste.